Beloved of the Lord, in the mighty and matchless name of Jesus, I decree and declare that this morning is saturated with divine purpose, supernatural clarity, and unstoppable favor over your life. Do you sense that today is not ordinary, that something powerful is aligning in your favor right now? Before you step into your responsibilities, before you answer a single call or message, can we take 10 intentional minutes to position your spirit for victory? This is not just another morning routine. This is a divine appointment with destiny. Have you ever wondered how different your day would look if you started it with authority instead of anxiety? In these next few moments, we are going to shift atmospheres, silence confusion, and activate heaven's agenda over your life. Are you ready to command your morning instead of being controlled by it? I believe that when you pray with boldness, things begin to move. Can you feel faith rising in you even now? As you listen, I want you to lean in, engage your heart, and agree in the Spirit, because agreement releases power. Tell me in the comments, where are you watching from today, and what are you believing God to do in your life? If you believe this prayer is going to bless you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs a breakthrough this morning. Are you prepared to step into this day covered, empowered, and aligned with heaven's purpose for your life? Let's begin. When you begin your morning with intentional prayer, you are not just forming a habit. You are establishing spiritual authority over your entire day. Have you ever noticed how different your day feels when you wake up rushed versus when you wake up focused and centered? Those first few moments after your eyes open are powerful, and what you do with them determines the emotional and spiritual climate you carry forward. Can you imagine what would shift if you chose alignment before activity every single morning? Most people reach for their phones before they reach for purpose. Have you ever found yourself scrolling through messages or social media and suddenly feeling behind, anxious, or distracted before you even got out of bed? That is because whatever speaks to you first often influences you most. What if, instead of allowing notifications to set your tone, you allowed prayer to set your direction? Intentional prayer is not about length, it is about focus. Do you give your first thoughts to worry, or do you give them to worship? When you pause and acknowledge God before anything else, you are saying, "My day will not control me. I will walk in divine order." Doesn't that feel empowering? Alignment in the morning recalibrates your mind. Have you ever driven a car that needed alignment and felt the steering wheel pulling to one side? That is what life feels like without prayer, constantly pulling you toward distraction, fear, and frustration. When you pray, you straighten your spiritual steering wheel so you can move forward with clarity and intention. Can you feel how even the thought of that brings peace? Your emotions also come under alignment when you pray first. Have you ever reacted to something early in the morning and then carried that frustration for hours? One small irritation can become a full day mood if you are not spiritually grounded. But when you start with prayer, you build emotional resilience before challenges even appear. Wouldn't you rather be prepared than surprised? Intentional prayer centers your thoughts on truth instead of assumptions. How often do we create scenarios in our minds that never even happen? The mind can wander into fear so quickly if it is not anchored. When you pray, you replace what if with even if, because you trust that no matter what happens, you are covered. Does that shift something inside you? Beginning your day with prayer also establishes boundaries. Have you ever felt pulled in 10 different directions before 9 a.m.? Prayer helps you prioritize what truly matters and release what does not belong to you. What if half the stress you carry is simply because you said yes to things God never assigned to you? When you pray intentionally, you invite wisdom into your decisions. Do you ever look back at a choice and think, if I had just paused for a moment? That pause is powerful. In prayer, you receive insight that logic alone cannot give you. Imagine walking into every meeting, conversation, or responsibility already guided by divine clarity. How would that change your confidence? Prayer also stabilizes your identity. The world constantly tries to define you by performance, comparison, or approval. Have you ever felt the pressure to prove yourself before the day even begins? But when you start in prayer, you are reminded that you are already chosen, already equipped, already loved. Doesn't that remove the weight of striving? Alignment is about harmony, spirit, soul, and body moving in the same direction. Have you noticed how exhausting it is when your mind says one thing, your emotions say another, and your spirit feels disconnected? Morning prayer brings internal agreement. It quiets the noise and amplifies truth. Can you sense how powerful that agreement can be? Your day will present opportunities and opposition. Wouldn't you rather face both with a prepared spirit? Prayer does not eliminate challenges, but it strengthens your response to them. When something unexpected happens, you are not shaken because you were already anchored. Have you experienced that kind of steadiness before? Intentional prayer shifts your perspective from reaction to anticipation. Instead of wondering what might go wrong, you begin expecting what can go right. Have you ever stepped into a day believing something good was about to happen? That expectancy changes your posture, your tone, even your body language. What if faith became your default setting? There is also power in consistency. Do you treat prayer as a last resort or a first response? When it becomes your first response every morning, it rewires how you approach everything else. You begin to think strategically instead of emotionally. You respond intentionally instead of impulsively. Isn't that the kind of discipline that produces lasting transformation? Alignment through prayer protects your peace. The world can be loud, demanding, and chaotic. Have you ever felt drained before the day was half over? Peace is not automatic, it is cultivated. When you invest 10 focused minutes at the start of your day, you are building a reserve that carries you through pressure. Can you see how that investment multiplies? Prayer also sharpens discernment. Not every opportunity is an assignment, and not every voice deserves your attention. Have you ever said yes to something that later distracted you from your real purpose? Morning alignment gives you the ability to recognize what aligns with your calling and what does not. Wouldn't that save you time and energy? When you begin with intentional prayer, you are declaring that your schedule will not own you. How often do we let our calendars dictate our peace? Prayer reorders priorities from eternal perspective rather than temporary urgency. What if the most productive thing you do all day is the first 10 minutes you spend in alignment? This practice also strengthens your spiritual awareness. Have you noticed how easy it is to drift into autopilot? Prayer brings you back to consciousness, to intention, to divine awareness. Instead of moving mechanically, you move mindfully. How different would your interactions be if you carried that awareness into every conversation? Alignment each morning builds confidence rooted in faith, not ego. Do you ever doubt whether you are capable of handling what is ahead? Prayer reminds you that you are not operating alone. You are supported by wisdom greater than your own. Doesn't that remove the pressure to have all the answers when your mind, emotions, and spirit are aligned? You become less reactive to negativity. Have you noticed how some comments or situations only disturb you when you are already unsettled? Prayer fortifies you so that outside noise loses its power. What if you could move through criticism without internalizing it? Beginning your day this way also cultivates gratitude. Instead of focusing on what is lacking, you focus on what is already present. Have you ever felt your mood shift simply by counting your blessings? Gratitude changes the frequency of your thoughts. It elevates you above comparison and into contentment. Can you feel that lift even now? Intentional prayer positions you to recognize opportunities. Sometimes blessings pass unnoticed because we are too distracted to see them. Have you ever realized later that something was a divine setup, but you almost missed it? Alignment sharpens your awareness so you do not overlook what was sent for you. When you consistently start your day in prayer, you build momentum. One aligned morning turns into aligned weeks, and aligned weeks shape aligned seasons. Can you imagine the long-term impact of making this one decision daily? Small disciplines create significant transformation over time. What if your breakthrough is hidden in your morning routine? This is about reclaiming your power before the day demands it. Will you allow circumstances to dictate your emotions, or will you choose to govern your internal world first? Every morning offers a fresh opportunity to align, to reset, to refocus. Are you willing to take those intentional minutes and position yourself for clarity, peace, and purpose before anything else speaks to you? Speaking faith-filled declarations at the start of your day is more than positive thinking. It is spiritual legislation over your atmosphere. Have you ever noticed how your words can either lift your energy or drain it within seconds? The moment you open your mouth in the morning, you are setting a tone not only for yourself, but for every environment you enter. What if the first words you spoke each day were intentional, powerful, and aligned with who you are called to be? Many people wake up rehearsing problems instead of proclaiming promises. Have you caught yourself saying, "I'm so tired. This is going to be a long day," or "nothing ever works out for me"? Those statements may feel harmless, but they shape your expectations. What would happen if you replaced those phrases with, "I am strengthened. Today will be productive," and "favor surrounds me"? Your words frame your reality. Have you ever walked into a situation already convinced it would fail, only to see it unfold exactly that way? Faith-filled declarations interrupt that cycle. When you declare truth before circumstances present themselves, you shift from reacting to creating. Can you imagine walking into every challenge already convinced of your victory? Declarations are not denial, they are alignment. Are you speaking based on what you see or based on what you believe? There is a difference between ignoring a problem and confronting it with faith. When you declare strength while feeling weak, you are not pretending. You are partnering with a higher truth. Doesn't that perspective change how you view your struggles? Every morning gives you an opportunity to reset your narrative. Have you been carrying yesterday's disappointment into today's expectations? When you wake up and declare, "This is a new day filled with new mercy and new opportunities," you release the residue of the past. What if today doesn't have to look like yesterday at all? Your atmosphere responds to your voice. Have you ever entered a room where tension was thick and one positive voice changed the entire mood? Same principle works in your personal space. When you declare peace over your home, clarity over your mind, and favor over your work, you are influencing what surrounds you. Can you feel the authority in that? Faith-filled declarations also break negative cycles. Is there an area of your life where the same pattern keeps repeating? Sometimes cycles continue because they are reinforced by consistent negative language. When you shift your words, you begin to weaken the pattern. What if the breakthrough you need begins with what you say before breakfast? There is power in hearing yourself speak life. Have you noticed how internal thoughts feel different when spoken out loud? When your ears hear your own voice declaring strength, it reinforces belief in a deeper way. Why not let your own voice become your daily encourager? Declarations train your mind to look for possibilities instead of obstacles. Do you tend to scan your day for what might go wrong? When you begin by saying, "Opportunities are locating me," your focus changes. You start noticing open doors instead of closed ones. How would your confidence grow if you expected good things consistently? Speaking faith in the morning also stabilizes your emotions. Have you ever allowed a single email or comment to derail your entire mood? If you have already declared, "I am emotionally balanced and grounded," you are less likely to be shaken. Wouldn't it be powerful to carry that steadiness into every interaction? Your identity becomes clearer when you declare it daily. Are you defining yourself by your mistakes or by your potential? When you say, "I am disciplined, I am focused, I am capable," you reinforce who you are becoming. What if repetition is the key to transformation? Declarations create alignment between belief and behavior. Have you ever said you wanted change but continued speaking defeat? When your words and desires agree, momentum builds. If you declare productivity, you are more likely to act productively. Can you see how speech and action are connected? Faith-filled words also guard your mindset from external negativity. Do you work or live around people who constantly complain? If you have already filled your morning with truth, their words have less impact. Wouldn't you rather be the thermostat than the thermometer in your environment? When you declare favor, you begin to expect it. Have you ever experienced unexpected kindness or opportunity and realized you had been believing for it? Expectation positions you to recognize blessings when they appear. What if favor has been present, but you are not looking for it? Declarations strengthen resilience. When obstacles arise, do you immediately question your ability? If you started your day declaring, "I overcome challenges with wisdom and grace," you approach problems differently. Instead of shrinking back, you lean forward. Doesn't that shift your posture internally? Speaking faith also reduces anxiety. How often does worry try to creep in before your day fully unfolds? When you boldly say, "I trust the process of my life," you interrupt anxious thoughts. You remind yourself that not everything has to be controlled to be successful. Can you breathe a little easier just thinking about that? Your future responds to your present language. Are you planting seeds of doubt or seeds of expectation? Words are like seeds that eventually produce fruit. When you consistently declare growth, peace, and progress, you are planting intentionally. What kind of harvest do you want to see in the coming months? Declarations help you take ownership of your day. Instead of saying, "Let's see what happens," you say, "I will make intentional choices." Doesn't that feel more empowering? You are no longer a passive participant. You are an active creator of your experience. How would your decisions improve if you believed you had that influence? When you speak faith over your relationships, they shift. Have you tried declaring patience, understanding, and healthy communication before interacting with someone challenging? Words shape expectations, and expectations shape behavior. What if your consistent declarations soften even difficult dynamics? Faith-filled speech also nurtures gratitude. When you declare, "I am thankful for the opportunities in front of me," your heart aligns with appreciation. Gratitude attracts more reasons to be grateful. Have you noticed how thankful people often seem more joyful and at peace? There is something transformative about consistency. Are you willing to declare truth even on mornings when you do not feel inspired? Discipline builds strength. The more you speak life, the more natural it becomes. Can you imagine how powerful you will feel after weeks of intentional declarations? Your voice carries authority. Do you believe that what you say truly matters? The start of your day is a blank canvas, and your words are the first strokes of paint. When you choose faith-filled declarations, you color your day with courage, hope, and expectation. What if tomorrow morning, before anything else, you decided to speak life so boldly that doubt has no room to settle? Gratitude in the morning is more than a polite acknowledgement. It is a spiritual practice that sets the tone for your entire day. Beloved, have you ever noticed how some mornings feel heavier than others? What if the very first act you perform, choosing to thank God, could shift the weight and bring clarity, peace, and a sense of purpose before you even face the world? Gratitude is a declaration that you are aware of the blessings surrounding you, even before the day fully unfolds. Can you feel how powerful that awareness can be? When you start your day with gratitude, you are aligning your spirit with the truth that you are already blessed. How often do we focus on what we lack rather than what we already possess? Take a moment and think, what is one thing today that you can be thankful for, no matter how small? Even small expressions of gratitude have the power to recalibrate your mind, your emotions, and your spiritual focus. Do you feel that shift when you pause to acknowledge it? Gratitude in the morning also strengthens your mindset. Have you noticed that when you wake up complaining or worried, challenges feel bigger than they really are? When you begin by expressing thankfulness, suddenly those same challenges seem smaller, more manageable, and less intimidating. Isn't it fascinating how one simple shift in perspective can completely alter your experience? Being grateful first thing in the morning invites favor into your life. Do you believe that your attitude can influence outcomes before your actions even begin? When you openly acknowledge the blessings you have, you signal to the universe or to divine influence that you are ready to receive more. It's like opening a door that was always meant to be unlocked. Can you see how gratitude opens pathways for unexpected opportunities? Gratitude also protects your peace. Have you ever felt rushed, stressed, or overwhelmed in the morning before you even left your home? Expressing thanks, even in a short prayer or a simple acknowledgement of your blessings, shifts your focus away from chaos and toward calm. Wouldn't it be amazing to carry that peace with you into every meeting, every conversation, and every task today? When you are grateful, your heart and mind are less likely to dwell on negativity. How often do we replay yesterday's frustrations first thing in the morning? When gratitude becomes your first response, you replace resentment and worry with awareness and appreciation. Have you ever noticed how a simple thank you can create a ripple effect in your mood and outlook? Gratitude also strengthens relationships. Do you pause to thank the people in your life for the small ways they contribute, support, or encourage you? When you acknowledge others, you are not only honoring them, you are also cultivating an environment where positivity and respect thrive. Imagine starting your day by sending a message of thanks or simply thinking warmly about someone who supports you. How would that change your interactions throughout the day? When your morning begins with gratitude, you become more focused on your priorities. Have you ever felt pulled in multiple directions, unsure where to start? Gratitude centers your mind and sets your intention, reminding you of what truly matters. It's a gentle but powerful way to prioritize divine guidance and personal purpose over distractions. Can you feel how intentional focus brings clarity to your plans? Gratitude also nurtures resilience. Life often throws unexpected challenges, and how we respond matters. Have you noticed how some people seem to bounce back quickly while others remain burdened? Those who practice gratitude often recover faster because they are anchored in the awareness of what is already good, even amidst difficulty. How would your response to challenges shift if you remembered your blessings first? Morning gratitude aligns your spirit with hope. Do you wake up expecting problems, or do you wake up expecting possibility? When you express thanks, you are choosing to focus on abundance rather than lack, on potential rather than limitation. This daily discipline trains your spirit to anticipate good, not just react to circumstances. Can you feel your mindset lifting just by considering this? Gratitude is also an act of faith. Have you ever felt worried about the unknown in your day? When you begin with thanks, you are declaring trust in divine provision, protection, and timing. It's a way of saying, I believe that my life is in order and that the unseen is working on my behalf. How would your day change if you approached it fully expecting that your needs would be met? Practicing gratitude in the morning increases your awareness of miracles, both large and small. Do you ever walk past something remarkable without noticing it because your mind is distracted? Gratitude trains your eyes to see beauty, opportunity, and provision in ways you may have overlooked. Can you recall a moment when noticing a small blessing completely changed your perspective? Gratitude also enhances creativity and problem solving. Have you ever noticed how worry and frustration cloud your thinking? When you start with a thankful heart, your mind becomes more open, flexible, and inspired. It's as though recognizing what is already good creates space for innovation and insight. What would happen if every morning you acknowledged your blessings before tackling your challenges? Morning gratitude fosters humility. Do you find it easy to take credit for everything you achieve, or do you pause to recognize the support, guidance, and favor that helped you along the way? Being grateful reminds you that success is never entirely your own. It is often a combination of effort, divine assistance, and the encouragement of others. How might your relationships and leadership improve if you consistently began with humility and thanks? Gratitude also attracts more reasons to be grateful. Have you ever noticed that when you focus on what you have, more good things seem to appear? This is because gratitude creates a mindset of awareness and receptivity. When you expect blessings, you begin to notice opportunities and gifts that may have otherwise gone unseen. Can you imagine waking up each morning ready to see abundance everywhere you look? Finally, gratitude strengthens your faith. Do you ever struggle to believe in good outcomes when life feels uncertain? Thankfulness, even for small things, reminds you of past victories, answered prayers, and the ways you have been supported through challenges. When you anchor yourself in gratitude, your faith becomes active, alive, and expectant. How powerful would it feel to start your day believing that not only is today a gift, but it is also filled with divine opportunities waiting for you? Gratitude in the morning is a choice, and every day presents a new opportunity to choose it. What if today, right now, you intentionally acknowledged at least 3 things you are thankful for before anything else? Can you feel how that small act could transform the trajectory of your entire day, influencing your mind, your heart, and even the energy you bring into your interactions with others? When you make gratitude a priority at the start of your day, you are not just practicing thankfulness. You are cultivating a life of clarity, peace, and purpose that touches every aspect of who you are. Surrendering your plans to God each morning is not a sign of weakness. It is an act of strength, trust, and alignment with a higher purpose. Beloved, have you ever felt the weight of trying to control everything before your day even begins? What if the very thing you think you must manage on your own could flow more smoothly when you release it to divine guidance? Surrender allows your spirit to work in harmony with heaven, creating a path that is often more efficient, more peaceful, and far more impactful than you could have orchestrated alone. Can you feel how liberating that thought is? Each morning, when you choose to surrender, you are essentially saying, I trust that the best plan for my life is already unfolding. Have you ever tried to force a situation only to discover it became more complicated because of your own effort? Surrender does not remove your responsibility, it repositions it. You still act, you still make decisions, but now your choices are guided, not driven by anxiety or uncertainty. How different would your day feel if you knew you were not walking it alone? Surrendering your plans aligns your actions with wisdom. Do you ever feel frustrated when things don't go the way you expected? When you release control, you invite insight and direction that may not have been visible to you before. Suddenly, decisions feel clearer, timing feels perfect, and doors begin to open that were previously unnoticed. Can you imagine what it would be like to move through your responsibilities with confidence instead of hesitation? When you surrender, you are also releasing stress and worry. Have you noticed how much mental energy we spend trying to predict outcomes? How often do we run through every possible scenario in our minds before the day even begins? Surrender allows you to focus on what you can influence while trusting what you cannot. Isn't it amazing to think that letting go can actually give you more control in the right areas? Surrendering each morning strengthens your faith. Do you wake up expecting everything to go according to your plan? Or do you wake up expecting that divine timing will guide your steps? Trusting in God's plan does not mean ignoring your responsibilities. It means trusting that your efforts are amplified when aligned with a higher purpose. How would your confidence increase if you knew that your day was orchestrated with divine precision? Releasing your agenda allows you to see opportunity more clearly. Have you ever been so focused on your own plan that you missed a better one unfolding around you? Surrender opens your eyes to possibilities that may have been hidden by your limited perspective. When you trust in a higher plan, you start noticing the guidance, coincidences, and connections that align perfectly with your purpose. Can you recall a time when letting go revealed something better than what you had imagined? Surrendering your plans also protects your peace. Have you ever felt rushed, overwhelmed, or anxious because you tried to manage too many things at once? When you start the day with surrender, you create space for calm, clarity, and focus. It's like giving your mind permission to stop spinning and your heart permission to rest. Can you feel the relief that comes when you know you are not carrying the weight of the world on your own shoulders? Each act of surrender is an act of empowerment. Do you ever feel trapped by obligations, schedules, or expectations? Letting go of the need to control everything actually gives you more freedom to move decisively and creatively. When your focus shifts from forcing results to trusting guidance, solutions begin to appear, and your energy is directed toward actions that truly matter. How would your productivity change if you approached the day with this mindset? Surrendering also strengthens your discernment. Have you ever pursued an opportunity only to realize it wasn't right for you? When you release your own assumptions, you create space to recognize what aligns with your calling versus what distracts from it. Guidance often comes subtly through intuition, timing, or alignment with people and situations, and surrender helps you tune into these signals. Can you imagine how much easier decisions would feel if you were guided rather than guessing? Surrender fosters gratitude and humility. Are you quick to take credit when things go well and equally quick to blame yourself when challenges arise? When you surrender, You acknowledge that success is rarely achieved alone and that unseen forces support your journey. This perspective allows you to move through the day with confidence, arrogance, and with humility, not self-doubt. How might your relationships improve if you approach them with this awareness? Morning surrender strengthens resilience. Life is unpredictable and challenges are inevitable. Have you noticed how much easier it is to adapt when you are not clinging to rigid expectations? Surrender allows you to pivot gracefully, maintain perspective, and respond instead of react. When your plans are flexible under divine guidance, obstacles become opportunities for growth. Can you see how surrender transforms resistance into resilience? Releasing control each morning also invites creativity. Do you ever feel stuck or uninspired when you try to solve problems purely through your own logic? Surrender opens your mind to fresh ideas, new strategies, and inspired solutions that may not have occurred to you otherwise. Sometimes the very breakthrough you need emerges only when you let go of the need to force it. What could happen today if you trusted your creativity to be guided by divine insight? Surrender encourages patience and timing. Do you find yourself rushing, anxious for results, or frustrated by delays? When you release your plan, you begin to trust that there is a perfect moment for everything. And that waiting is often part of the process. You learn to act at the right time rather than reacting prematurely, which increases your effectiveness. Can you feel how patience becomes easier when surrender is your starting point? Surrendering your plans also impacts your emotional state. Have you ever felt irritable or anxious simply because things didn't happen according to your schedule? Morning surrender allows you to begin your day with calm expectation rather than tension, setting a tone of peace that carries you through interactions, challenges, and decisions. Wouldn't it feel freeing to face your day without carrying unnecessary stress? Surrender allows alignment with purpose. Do you ever wonder if your daily tasks are really leading you toward your ultimate goals? When you release your personal agenda and seek guidance first, your actions are more likely to align with your calling. Each decision and effort becomes intentional rather than random. How different would your sense of fulfillment feel if you knew every step was purpose-driven? Surrender also strengthens your ability to trust others. Have you ever struggled to delegate or rely on the support around you? When you practice surrender in the morning, you recognize that help, insight, and collaboration are part of the process. You are not alone, and trusting in the collective wisdom around you becomes easier. How would your work and relationships improve if you started the day by trusting in others and divine timing? Surrendering your plans each morning cultivates hope and expectancy. Do you wake up worried about what might go wrong, or do you wake up believing that good things are possible? Trusting in a higher plan shifts your perspective toward anticipation rather than fear. You begin your day expecting progress, solutions, and breakthroughs. Can you imagine approaching today with that level of confidence and hope? When you surrender your plans, you also empower your actions. Are you ever hesitant to make decisions because you feel alone in the process? Surrender does not remove action. It enhances it. Each move you make becomes more strategic, intentional, and guided. How would it feel to act decisively knowing that your steps are aligned with divine wisdom? Surrendering your plans is a daily practice of trust. How often do we assume control only to discover that we have limited perspective? By releasing your agenda first thing in the morning, you create space for guidance, protection, and provision that you cannot manufacture on your own. Isn't it comforting to know that the unseen forces at work are aligned for your good even before your day fully begins? Morning surrender also cultivates flexibility. Do you resist change or adapt quickly when circumstances shift unexpectedly? When you begin your day by letting go of rigid expectations, you naturally become more adaptable, resilient, and open to possibility. How much easier would it be to navigate surprises if you had already practiced letting go and trusting the process? Surrender empowers gratitude as well. Have you ever been frustrated by a delay, obstacle, or unexpected detour? Releasing control allows you to appreciate the lessons, insights, and opportunities hidden in every experience. Your focus shifts from what you lack to what is unfolding perfectly in divine timing. Can you feel how that perspective changes your emotional and spiritual energy for the day? Finally, surrendering your plans each morning sets a foundation of peace, clarity, purpose. Have you ever started a day feeling frazzled, overwhelmed, or unsure? When you intentionally release control, you create the conditions for your spirit, mind, and body to operate in alignment. Each choice, interaction, and challenge is now a